gravel's end, going where the eagle flies, where the mighty river never dries. Soothe my soul in open air, feeling quite at home in the great somewhere. Shed my heavy load again, I'm going down the road, I'm going down the road.
22. Well, that's a lot of geoengineering today. It's one of those days. It's all different types of geoengineering. But this is definitely one example. Cloud cover, artificial cloud cover. Anyway, I just had my lunch, not that it matters, and here's some nice apple cider. The best apple cider is slightly sharp, I find. Oh yeah, anyway, so this is stupid. Okay, I'm just kidding. Today's job is to build a fence. Not this fence. It's already been built. Grass. Anyway, out yonder, as you can see behind me, here, I can get you a better angle. Get up on top of my log cabin here. Alright, no more fooling. That's the future pasture field. And today we're going to build a fence, or start a fence around it. That's the well in the woods. Feels like falling in love, do. Feels quite a lot like falling in love with you, do. I like falling in love, do. Quite a lot like falling in love again. Alright. Windfall jungles out here, and you just can't even swing an axe. It's actually more dangerous using an axe because it gets caught on whatever it gets caught on. And this is mild. This is like a swampy area out here. Hey, this is up in the upper forest where it's a lot drier. It's such a dork. Why can't I just talk normally? I'm just kidding. Anyway. Yeah, the wood is a lot drier up here. Anyway, there's lots of windfalls up here too. And standing dead ones, which is the ones I'm really after. And, I like them because they're light. These are ideal for the pole corral. And anyway, I'm using the saw today, even though I normally always do it with the axe. But you know, this is November and I'm trying to get it done as fast as possible. Good morning. It's another beautiful day out here. Anyway, today, it's a beautiful day as you can see. I'm going to try dragging this harrow through the ground a few more times. As you can see, it's pretty cleaned up here. Can't see much. Anyway, I'm going to try planting this in this pasture grass I just brought. As you can see, horse pasture and paddock. I know what Big Duck likes. Big Duck doesn't like the crust. Here, Big Duck. Yeah, you know I'm talking to you. In order to be a farmer nowadays, you have to be creative. Because land is so expensive, really in the last few years even, because land is what makes people self-sufficient. So letting it be in the hands of the average person is, you know, not a good thing. So for the big people. So to be a farmer, you got to be creative nowadays. So if a farm costs, you know, $3 or $4 million around here anyway, at least, then you're never going to be able to make any money. So the idea of the riverbank, grazing the riverbank, is kind of like being a modern day shepherd. Out west, they still have, you know, do grazing on public land or whatever. But around here in southwestern Ontario, you get a lot of lush growth because it's very good soil here and stuff grows very luscious. And so you don't need nearly as much space to grow the same amount of animals out west that is already being utilized by people. So my idea is that my spot is down yonder, just down that way a little bit. And there's all these kinds of spots around here. So they have these solar fences now with like an electric strand that I'd be able to put animals here for a little bit until they graze it off. And the river's right here, so access to water. Move them down with the horses, obviously, and move them around like that, and then put them in the wire intensive grazing, and then move them on to the next spot. And there's all kinds of other spots. Like, cities are the scariest place in the world to me. Not because of, you know, gangsters and robbers and stuff, but more, it's such a fragile system. You don't realize how fragile, say, water can just turn off and it'd be a scary situation. And then down here, you know, they'd all come and steal all our food. So, lots of people. Anyway, and naturally I try and stay away from everybody as best I can. But that's the idea of riverbank ranching, is that free grazing land around here and then I just pay for my little rented spot, and without having to, you know, be locked into some lifetime commitment of paying for a farm. Easy there. Future log cabin. Tobacco. Beautiful pink flowers. Tomatoes. Hard to see them. My young tree. Some very pretty marijuana here. Not sure if you can see how pink the color is. Some more pretty pink. Hard to see on this phone. Oh, and it smells like a dream come true. Oh. That's my own variety that I've been breeding since the year of 2015. In today's video, I am taking you on a tour of my garden. So as you can see, there's lots of cannabis plants, as well as the tobacco, like I pointed out, and I grow garlic too, which has been harvested. Sunflowers aren't doing so good this year. But in this video specifically, I'd like to talk about this beautiful crop marijuana. Cannabis, the plant is called. And this is what I select for. It's my breeding program. I select for these beautiful pink flowers, and for taste and other things, and resilience and earliness. It's a plant I've been working on for a few years, like I said, since 2015. And the reason for it is that in the future we're going to need these seeds, because the seeds of the cannabis plant in itself is one of the most resilient and adaptable plants known to mankind. And my plant specifically, because I allow for open pollination, which means you let a bunch of males and females grow out and fertilize, so you get the seeds. Those seeds are very good and nourishing for the human body, and they contain a lot of the essential nutrients and minerals and whatnot that humans need. and they're a wind pollinated plant. So people who are aware of, you know, a natural disaster or, you know, something like pollinators being wiped out, that would be very beneficial to humans. And these plants produce thousands of seeds. Pretty sure these plants originated from up north. They used to be grown back in the 1970s and stuff. And the old varieties of plants are disappearing, and they're being replaced by monoculture plants, like marijuana specifically, but I'm not even, like, I'm talking about crops in general. There's 3 crops that farmers grow generally, or 4, being corn, wheat, soybeans, and alfalfa. And, you know, there's others too, but those are the main crops. So, you know, and they're all the same seed or very closely related, and they're all dependent on fertilizers and chemical sprays to keep down the weeds. These are some fine looking tobacco plants. And the problem with that is these seeds with corn and stuff, it's only a matter of time before a big blight goes through everything. And even a drought, you're seeing major droughts in, you know, all parts of the world. But I'm not gonna, well, yeah, may as well talk about geoengineering and weather manipulation and how you can use climate warfare to, you know, all these things they put into the air that you can manipulate weather. So anyway, these cannabis plants are very resilient. Mine specifically, because I've been breeding them specifically to be resilient, because the year of 2016 is, that's when my breeding program really took off, because there was a piece of land I got to rent, 40 acres in the back 40 of somebody's farm. And I was very lucky, but I was only there for 2 years before the place sold. But and you know, farms are impossible to buy now. To most people, it's unrealistic. And I always say system by design, because that's exactly what it is. System by design. Anyway, these plants, lots of biodiversity in them. They've been in the hands of humans since the beginning of time. Some people would argue that they're what created the dawn of agriculture. The seeds and all kinds of stuff, you can tell because there's so many varieties, and whenever there's a large variety of something, just like with dogs and all kinds of animals, it means that humans have had their hands on it for a long time. And these plants, these seeds, humans can survive off of them. But what's more, the thing about these seeds is that we're going to need them in the future. You can store up all the food you want, but if you don't have seeds, a resilient seed, then eventually your food's going to run out. And the other thing about animals, they're trying to get rid of animals because throughout history they've always tried to do that. Shepherds and stuff are some of the most resilient people, because if you can take an animal and turn all this into edible meat. Anyway, the most one of the animals I keep is pigeons, and they thrive on these seeds, in fact. And they're also a very resilient bird, especially mine. Again, I've been breeding them since a long time, since I was a teenager, and when I was a kid I had pigeons as well, of course, but I've been breeding these pigeons since I was a teenager, and breeding for resilience, to be resilient to viruses, and hawk attacks and all kinds of stuff. And another bird they're a bird that will fly out and they always come home, which is the great thing about pigeons.
You're out flying, bird of the sky, you're out flying, always passing by, you're out flying. There's a hawk hanging around, you're out flying. There's a cat down on the ground, you're alone now.
So,
with only your heart beating, all alone now.
Also one of the first domesticated animals.
Freedom's so misleading,
or birds, I should say.
You're out flying, out flying on your own. You're out flying, just wanting to come home.
So, marijuana or cannabis, the seeds and pigeons are my two animals and crops that I've focused on my life, and I would love to have cows and horses, of course, and I keep asking that I can use that field down there, which is just sitting empty, for raising, to turn into a pasture field, and he still hasn't really given me an answer, but he hasn't said no, so my hopes are still high. Anyway, yeah, corn, if you grow it organically, you always get corn borers. Sunflowers always seem to have worms in them, and the seeds. Whereas these cannabis seeds, they never have anything. And of course, they're one of the most useful plants known to mankind, humankind, I should say. And since I'm looking at this here male plant, you can see it's all chewed off by me and it's regrowing. And it's because these plants, the pollen and the leaves, are very nutritious and healing to the human body. And delicious once you get a taste for it. And I can just eat this stuff all day. All this pollen, it's got to be good for you. Scrumptious. Sadie enjoys it too sometimes. Little female. Sunflowers. Tomatoes. Zinnias. Plenty of cannabis. I've been growing cannabis plants for a very long time. Not a very long time, but since I was 14, so. And in that time, I've come to realize that the male plants are worth so much more than people give them credit for. They're packed full of nutrients and all kinds of stuff. And this is the way Mother Nature intended, for plants to grow wild and free. And so just like if you're raising chickens, you generally butcher the males and eat them. Most people kill their male cannabis plants to stop them from fertilizing. To stop them from fertilizing. I'm stepping on a tomato. To stop them from fertilizing the females. But I eat the plants. I think they're very beneficial to your health and well-being. And they give me there's no high. They give you a very natural energy boost and like a very sharp, it's a sharp taste, but very good for you. And this is how I always let my plants go. All the males full of pollen, so that means they fertilize all the females, and what you get is all these seeds, which are, everybody should know the benefits of cannabis seeds. Started smoking it, and that's when I started growing too. And at first it was just to because I was one of those whatever. And it really brought me back to my roots. I was very lost in the city after leaving the country, the farm. And because of cannabis, it really, growing it, got me out into nature. I had to be very hidden and very aware. I was very aware of the sound of helicopters and airplanes, and yeah, so that's how it all got started. And it brought me back to my roots of farming and connected me to, much higher aspects in life. I could go on and on. Obviously, it's been, the way I'm growing it is illegal because you can only have 4 plants in Canada, right? There's a butterfly again. And I actually got arrested for growing plants like this, which I think is a real loss to everybody growing it, because this is the way Mother Nature intended. And it's real. Bees love marijuana. Bumblebees especially, but there's bumblebees, honeybees, and they're all after the pollen. It's good stuff, people. It's good for you. Anyway, so riverbank ranching is kind of what I was going for, right? And that's because right on the other side of those trees is the river. And you see all kinds of hogweed and stuff growing along rivers nowadays. And so my idea was to graze goats to start, and they would clean up the hogweed when it's still young. You'd send them out in the spring. And then I guess you'd send out sheep or whatever. And like I said, I really want to get some beef cows and a dairy cow for milk. Goes hand in hand with rounding up all the wild mustangs, and because one day, just like my plants are very resilient, those horses are very resilient. And if there's ever a situation where gas is no longer available to the public, or car ownership, or whatever, those horses are going to be needed. How's it going? Wow. What can I see, oh my love? Someday we'll meet, whoa, 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 on a golden street somewhere, someday real soon. Love will bloom, oh you see, doom. You'll be with me, do, do, do. Somewhere, someday, some way, someday real soon. Do 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 do, oh my love, someday on golden shores. Forevermore, I'll be right next to you someday. What can I say, oh my love? How can it be? You're here with me, oh, 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 my love and me. Ha ha ha, oh oh, do 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 do. Normally I do it smoother than that. These are good carrots. They just fell off the carrot tractor wagon. A little gritty from the dirt, but they're pretty good. Normally, I don't like talking with my mouth full of food. Kind of drives me crazy. What can I say? Maybe times are changing. This is what I drive through every day. See? Oh, sorry. I hate when it goes really fast like that. It makes me dizzy. I'll do it again. Nice and slow. I normally try and leave all this stuff out. Yeah, I have hoarding tendencies. See, people think I'm just out being one of these young, cool country boys of today. Getting the old truck all dirty, but it's not like, you know. Hope to get into bees someday. These aren't mine. They were just left here by, well, the beekeeper. Well, that's a story for another day. Oh, that smells like cat pee, damn it. Oh, fuck, that's... Oh. Damn fucking cats peeing in all my sand. The beautiful sound of the oriole. Anyway, I've been waiting a long time and it finally happened. Finally got myself a date. That's good. Anyway, this is my saddle. It's my pride and joy. I owned a saddle ever before I owned a horse. And I came in handy too, and I owned this a lariat rope before I ever owned a saddle. Anyway, which I think is the right order of things, looking back on it. Great example of aluminum geoengineering. Aluminum's not good for you. Just look at plastic, it's everywhere. So I don't think, that's something you can see, so you can't really deny it. And these clouds up here, they claim it's to, they actually say that they don't do it, but they do. There's my airplane friends. I actually like airplanes. There's an airplane around here. Well, there's lots of airplanes around here. But there's at least one who always waves at me. They come and turn tight circles above me. Because I used to always wave at them. I started waving at them and now they always wave at me too. Anyway. Yeah, geoengineering. I'm not a fan. I get very frustrated. That's like aluminum and glass. Ah. Here's a good example of geoengineering. It was sunny in the morning, and you'll notice the sunshine is intensely hot now because all these chemicals and stuff that they spray in the air, like aluminum, which is causing mass Alzheimer's and all kinds of other diseases over the masses of people. Anyway, the mass spraying of the skies, hiding the sunshine, which gives us life and happiness. It's not okay. Anyway, here's me and my doggy. Yep, that's life now. Geoengineered skies. It's not okay. The reason for doing everything by hand is it's the way I like to do things, no loud machinery. And you're depending on yourself, and you feel better when you're doing physical work like that, hard, using hand tools. If you know how to use one, like say woodworking tools, you pretty much know how to use all of them because it's the same sort of motion and endurance, if that's what you'd call it. You just get a feel for sort of breathing with the rhythm. You get into a real rhythm of things, and you get into the natural rhythm of nature too. And you really get into a rhythm, a natural harmony, system of nature. Anyway, so that's why I use hand tools, because I actually enjoy it. And it's much simpler, like when something breaks on these machines, it's always just a headache and it takes a lot longer to fix it. Whereas if the head keeps slipping off my axe, you just look at it and you can generally see the problem. Having to look up on YouTube how to fix something. Anyway, and so your body is basically like a motor already. So I don't know why people are always looking for the solution of the future, because sometimes you gotta go to the past to make things work. Anyway, just thought I'd talk to you for a minute. All right. It's good water. I would describe the taste as melted snow. Anyway, I was just out riding the horses. It's a beautiful spring February day, and it's gonna rain. The clouds are quite spectacular, and I took the horses out for a ride. Both of them. I never go anywhere with one horse, hardly ever anymore. It's always two. And we're like a herd, I guess. And except if I fall off, then I'm left behind, and I'm quickly identified as the non-herd member, or the weakest link anyway, the one that the cougar would catch. Anyway, I wanted to talk about... Yeah, let's go see the horses. All right, rhythm. It's kind of like the guitar or the piano or just the band. That's the riding part of the horse, like where your legs and body is connected. You feel it in your rhythm, and then up with your other hand, and that's more like the melody. But the rhythm, riding, that's like the bass and the not harmony. It's what you lay down, and then the melody, the singing part or whatever comes over top, and that's the reins and the mind of the horse. Anyway, you don't want to look at me. Let's it's a heck of a beautiful day. Here, I'll show you the horses. Don't forget my water. It's good water. Fresh out of the well. It's probably the best water you can drink. And there they are. So, I'm going to leave it at that. Just wanted to talk about rhythm and artisticness, rhythm and harmony. No, rhythm and melody. Because that's what it takes to ride a horse. Yes. All right. Today's topic is kind of an extension of what I was talking about before. With the hand tools. And nowadays, especially on YouTube and whatnot, you see a lot of people doing this homesteading kind of thing, and it seems like people are preparing for some sort of a collapse or something, societal, agricultural, and you know, I've done a lot of work, a lot of hand work. I've all the tree cutting with axes and hand saws and digging holes. I've mixed a heck of a lot of concrete in a wheelbarrow, and when my rototiller died last year, I tried digging this with a hoe or a pick even, and it was so compacted because nowadays soil has lost its structure from being constantly plowed, that it just gets very compacted. Anyway, if we're going to talk about, say, an agricultural collapse, or like, I mean, as in no fossil fuels, but let's just talk about horsepower. I think a lot of people are trying to do things by hand, like you see people building log cabins all by hand, but it's like working the land by hand is a lot of work and almost unrealistic. So I think horsepower. I saw the scrap metal guy the other day when I was out on my horse buying all this old horse-drawn equipment from the Mennonites, just selling it for scrap metal, which is really a shame, I think, because I would love to get my hands on that kind of stuff, but it all costs money, which I don't have any of, and but that's the goal, is to start working the land with horses, plow, not just a plow, you got a hay cutter, that's a big one. I've done a lot of scything by hand, that wears you out, like it's a lot of strenuous work, especially in the summer heat. I don't have very long on here, so I'll probably leave it at that. But yeah, horsepower, way of the future. Come on, stop. Anyway, yeah, grains. Grains are what are important. That is what will keep you alive. You can grow vegetables by hand, but you need grains to survive. I was never very good at chasing down big dreams. Out there in the world was always farther than it seems, but a simple kind of life, and not too hard to find. The things I'd come to know I couldn't seem to leave behind. Well, I had it in my head that there was something more, but stumbling around I could never find the door. So I guess I settled in, and I almost settled down. But don't you know, I kinda like the way that things are now. Hello, I'm Patrick, and I am here to make a YouTube video. It's been a little while, probably about 2 years since I made one of these. 21, and I remember in my last video I talked about diabetes and having seizures, and anyway, I wanted to make one now, and not that I really want to talk about it, but for YouTube video's sake, I do actually want to make a video on it. Yeah, it happened just over here, and I was all by myself. This is gonna go on and on, so I can't do it. I have to stop. I'm out here using an axe the old-fashioned way. You know, preparing for someday when we survive on this kind of stuff, hand tools. But the reality is that me being a diabetic, I'm not going to be around for those days, so. Ah, yes. Whew. It's a lot of hard work. Keeps a man healthy. But you know, talking about seizures, you know how they say owner like owner like dog. I've seen my dog, he's had a few seizures as well. So I know what it looks like. So when I woke up, it was like I was in a dream or something, looking up at the trees. I don't know how to talk about this stuff. Just anyway, only 2 minutes left. Yeah, I remember waking up and thinking that I must have stumbled or something, because I was really dizzy, because I was anyway, yeah, I had gone and put the horse away in the corral. Just walking up, I remember waking up and looking at the trees, and my tongue was all chewed up and my legs were all wobbly, and somehow made it to the truck, started driving backwards and ended up in the middle of the field, and then I was real stuck, like it was really deep mud, and then tried to turn the truck on and the battery was dead, and then I tried to call for help and my phone was dead. So I was out of test strips, and I guess I realized then how low I was, and I just started chugging ginger ale, like 5 of them, and took the nose glucagon, which gives you a real bad headache, but whatever, and then made it up to the Mennonites and asked them for some food, and they gave me something with peanuts in it. So even after I asked if it had nuts in it, they told me no anyway. So then I had a peanut allergy on top of that. Anyway, all this modern technology, I curse. It's very useful. Yeah, you really do. Can save your life. Anyway, there you go. Chop the tree in half with an axe. So long for now.
Take a look at me, tell me what you see. What's the image in your mind? I've been right and wrong, I've been weak and strong, and I just can't be confined. There's a shadow that's been hanging over me from a rainbow in the sky.
Anyway, it's
by a
because of stuff like that.
thunderstorm.
The diabetes specifically kind of holds me back in a lot of ways. But yeah, so I really do need someone to look out for me.
I've been standing here,
I guess
I've been standing where the fork parts in the road. 2 steps down and I turn around to catch my heavy load. need someone, 'cause I'm not strong. I've been weak for far too long. I need someone more than me, it's true. Is it you? Can't you see? You caught my eye. I could be your kind of guy. I need someone with a love that's true. Yes, I do. I believe in something that I just can't see, but I can feel it every time I see you looking at me. I can say I'll change my way, but the same eyes seem to stay. I need someone to help me through. Yes, it's true. I've been trying on my own, doing things all alone. Sometimes it's easier with two. I believe in something that I just can't see, but I can feel it every time I see you looking at me. I need love to ease my mind, someone who's good and kind, someone quite a lot like you. Yes, it's true. I believe in something that I just can't see, but I can feel it every time I see you looking at me. I believe in something, and I know it's true, 'cause I can feel it every time you see me look at you. Yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yay. All of my troubles go drifting away. Yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yo. Back to the saddle and snow.